Being a little shame around these young guys. I wasn't going to just read them in English, but you know, they can straighten me out if I make a mistake. Stop laughing, boy. You need that now. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم عما يتساءلون عن النبأ العظيم الذي هم فيه مختلفون كلا سيعلمون ثم كلا سيعلمون ألم نجعل الأرض مهادا والجبال أوتادا وخلقناكم أزواجا وجعلنا نومكم سباتا وجعلنا الليل لباسا وجعلنا النهار معاشا وبنينا فوقكم سبعا شدادا. In the name of the Lord, beneficent, the merciful, where do they question one another? This sort of novel is sometimes translated as the news, because in the surah it gives us the news, tells us about it, and the bad news tells us about the bad news. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, it is of the awful tidings concerning which they are in disagreement. Nay, but they will come to know. Nay again, but they will come to know. Have we not made the earth an expanse and the high hills anchored down? Of course, we know about this in science now, and before we didn't understand when the Lord told us that the mountains were anchors, to hold the earth together. There was anchors, but we didn't understand that now. But the science has caught up with it. And we have created human pairs and have appointed sleep for rest, and have appointed the day for livelihood. That's how you get out, do your livelihood in the daytime. And we have built above 7 strong heavens. 7 strong heavens. So we get a chance to, by the leave of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to get a little insight to this here first heaven. And they bring out these here big telescopes and so forth and so on. So we can see a little bit of the first heaven. We can see a little bit of it, but not much of it. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that He built 7 strong heavens, 7 of them. Not 1, not 2, not 3, but 7 of them. So where do we go from here? First, we understand that we have arguments and disagreements concerning El-Fuqh, because that's what I came in. I'm not going to tell nobody that I took a bayat to anything other than that. And what was it that we took a bayat? We took a bayat to go fight jihad, peace and love. Because at the time, we was a bunch of guys who have been training for years and years, training to uphold justice for Islam. And then here comes an opportunity for us to fight for it, for real, and die for it, for real. And a lot of us took the chance to do that. And a lot of us were pointed in bad directions. I can hold this. Yeah, you can hold it. I'll look. A lot of us are pointed in bad directions. And we have some examples here, like Dawood, your father. He was in the first unit that we had that was sent out. It was a bad direction. Holy Lord, that it didn't become something else. And other brothers that was pulled together to do things. And Abdus-Salaam, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that time, I was in charge of all of these here, different little groups. We got brothers doing 50 years right now in jail, doing 50 years in jail. And nobody, after they was busted for doing these here acts that they believed that was the right thing, nobody got out and supported their families or helped them with anything, except a few. Except a few. They may be a handful. But other than that, nobody. Brothers went out and started robbing places on the West Coast, on the East Coast. We had about 2 brothers who died for something in Michigan. For what? That was a personal thing. That had nothing else to do with a personal thing. And in the end, I was thrown under the bus for it. Set up Musa Abdus Sat there. Musa Abdus had nothing to do. He said something. I'm telling you today, I ain't nothing to set up nothing. I ain't do nothing to kill no Muslims. The Muslims that did get killed, and there were some, even from this Jamaat, that was killed by this Jamaat. And I'm not putting no names on anybody, but that was assassinated at this Jamaat, who I didn't believe at this time and at that time. And I refused to take part in it. Even during that time, that I didn't believe they did anything so wrong that other people were getting 10 lashes or 50 lashes, which was already established, but they get their throat cut for the very same thing. And it wasn't nothing public, so nobody benefited from it. And whenever you were given punishment, it's made public, so the public benefits from it. If lashes are given, it's made public so that the public benefits from it. If a person is stoned to death, it's made public so that the public benefits from it. If the public does not benefit from it, then why is it done? Who benefits? The person that's being killed should definitely not benefit. And the other thing is that we watch these here people telling people, hey, if you committed a sin before Allah, then confess your sin. This is a trifling thing. When the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us that if we keep the sin to ourselves and ask Him for forgiveness, that He'll forgive us. He guarantees that this Allah guarantees that if we beg Him for forgiveness, He'll forgive us. So who is it that can forgive us or ask or tell somebody, tell me and I'll forgive you? Nobody forgiveness means anything. Okay? Things got real shaky with me and Sheikh Jalani. So he sent that guy there to get me. But he's my friend. And he worked hard on a lot of things, so he let me know right away. But they also sent the Duke to get him. but they didn't have the, I don't know what the word I would say, they didn't have the courage to go forward. You know, they did a little sneaking around behind them and stuff like that, but they didn't have the courage to go through it. And alhamdulillah, they didn't, because then that would have caused a landfall of other things to take, to go on. Because then it would have to be some invention, literally, if something happened to them. You know, I know in my family it would have been if something happened to me, you know, and I knew where he stood, and I knew where I stood, and some other people who was out there really on the front lines. And the other thing, St. Adams, y'all know, when we was out there, St. Adams was, what was that little boy? There was a little boy running around him. He was about that size. The first time I went into Trinidad for something, he was about that size, running around. A lot of these young guys, they had no idea what this Fitrah movement was about. They have no idea. All they know is that it was about collecting money, trying to build these communities. I know in Georgia it was me and this guy here, Abdus-Salaam and Saeed and a couple of brothers. We got together and pulled our little funds and worked hard, cleaning places until we got the money together, halal money together, to buy the land in Georgia. And what became of it, a lot of the rest. California, same thing. The people was told there to deal with this land. There was a lot of money involved. A lot of money, a lot of money. Well, I'll give you an example. Start with the law. We needed to, first they tried to separate me and my family. And then when things got real bad out there, they called, asked that I come back because there was police running down the roads and all kinds of stuff. That they didn't have the lights, and they didn't have a big water problem and so forth. So come back, had to raise $50,000 to turn the lights back on. $15,000 to get the well rebuilt and so forth. But the people didn't have it because they was giving up 35% of their income. Then where was they going to get the money? So the money was raised from other sources. Alhamdulillah, that at the time was able to get out and get them from donations. But it made the people poor. Now there's a problem here, is because making people poor, making the community poor is wrong. Okay. I said it's wrong. What makes it wrong? Because there's nothing that you can leave for your children. Nothing you can leave for your children. No way that you can leave anything for your children. You die. What did you leave for your children? You don't have anything. You don't even have a house, a home, anything. Anything. You go out and you spend your money, you build a house. And I bought a house upstate New York on the land. I left to go check out something in California. They gave my house away. Nobody said, hey, MJ, go right if we give you a house to so-and-so. Nobody. They gave my house away. All our important papers, including our passports, all that stuff was burned up. What? You know, so what kind of administration situation did we create? When you create a situation like that and people go along with it, it gets worse and worse and worse. It don't never get better. It's always going to get worse. And when you get a situation where people can say, it's all right to lie to so-and-so, don't tell him. You can tell her, but she can't tell her. And misleading people in this direction and giving people, nothing happened, something serious happened. The only people that don't know about it are the people in the Jamaat. It happens to someone in the Jamaat, but the only people that don't know about it, the newspapers know about it, the cops know about it. So the only person that doesn't know is the people in the Jamaat. What's wrong with this picture? Something is totally wrong with this. And this here thing with the psychology that's used. Well, we got your wife, and we'll use your wife picture. That we'll cause your family to split up, or we'll use your daughter's picture, or we'll use your son's picture. And I know because I was courted there. I have 16 kids. 90 grandkids, and a bunch of great-grandkids, and I felt that I was under the pressure that once I come out and explain this thing openly, that I had a chance to lose my whole family. And I felt that pressure, and I let that pressure for a long time sway me here and there. I think when Charlie Blue Eyes died, that kind of opened me up a little bit at his funeral, where I had to take some initiative to let people know that, hey, whatever the situation is, there's no God but Allah, Muhammad's the messenger of Allah, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take care of you. If you do anything wherever you go, turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Don't worry about nobody. And none of us should. None of us should be worried about anybody else. The Jamaat is a word. Hopefully, that doesn't mean that we are different from the Ummah. Because it's the Ummah that we're trying to grow and become a part of. I can say for the last 20 years that I've been associated with a lot of good brothers. Some of them Hafizes, some of them Akul Bayt, some of them, I guess we call them Salafias, some of them, a lot of people. I don't know what I am. I call myself a Sunni Muslim. I'm calling myself a Salafi or anything else. I try to follow Holy Quran and Hadith, and I'm trying to build a family around it, and hopefully that it will extend to other people. And I can alhamdulillah say that the majority of my family right now is on the right road. Not all of them. Still got a couple of non-speakers, but majority, so everybody should be patient and understand that everybody has something that they want to get out of this here, TMOA. And by the way, I didn't even know what TMOA was 2 years ago, or a year ago when I went on that program. I didn't know how to start. I'm living with people who are going through all of these things. I didn't know what TMOA was, what that stands for. I didn't know. I was like out of the loop. Completely out of the loop. So I'm just saying, for the sake of Allah and His holy messenger, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and by the way, I love Abdus. I hope everybody does, but that don't make me be in love with Abu Jahl. He was Abdus too. He was the Prophet Sallallahu uncle. And who was close to the Prophet Sallallahu? Was it Abu Abbas? Was it his nephew Ibn Abbas? Was it his cousin Ali? Who's close to who? Have people been paying attention? You know, there was a vast movement at one time in this time. You know, they followed Uncle Bay because they was following the vast movement. But we should be following the law subhanahu wa ta'ala. And whatever good comes from these people, that comes from the law. Because I know a lot of Uncle Bay is good. And I hate to say it that I know people that are not so good. I'm not following nobody anymore unless I see some good in it. Now, I wanted to first get up here around a bunch of ideas and a bunch of ideas and confused too. But that's not what I need to do. What I need to do is try to make things plain because I know this is going to go beyond here. Look, as I said before, 17 times a day we stand up before Allah. We make an oath to Allah. An oath. We say, Iyyaka na'budu wa Iyyaka nasta'in. All of us. Whether it be TMOA or whether it be any Muslim, we do this, we take this oath. And then some people, they go to grave sites and they sit down and they get flowers and stuff around their neck and they sit there and then they say, oh, shake so-and-so, you know, I got these here problems and could you help me? Straight up sure. I know I did it. The Lord knows that I did it. Not at one great site, start the law. You know, all these very sites, I did it. You know, the Lord forgive me. You know, me and Mia site, you can spend the night at some of those sites, sit there all night long by myself. And you see little places in the back at people's graves. Somebody told me that they had stayed up for 40 days, 40 years, day and night. And I know that in response to that me and my friend here had stayed up for 8 days, day and night. And we used all the Bible and all the those that we could eat just to do that. And I don't know if they had no those in Bible in those days. I don't know what they had. But there's no God. We got to get away from this here Hindu foolishness. Because that's what it is. It's just Hindu foolishness that has crept into our hearts and our minds and caused us to move in this direction or that direction. Nobody can be called the law except the law. There ain't nothing can be described. No situation, nothing is like Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is alone. Allah is alone. There's no partners, there's no nothing, there's just the law. He created the heavens and the earth. Now, back to the beginning, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created 7 heavens. 7 heavens. And we cannot even in here describe the distance of one. Not even one. I mean, who can describe 13.5 billion light years? Most people don't even know what the speed of light is. But 13.5 billion light years. What description is that? And the other thing is, please, don't think you can understand the law. You can't. Don't sit around thinking, oh, well, you know, a lot can't understand the law. So the only thing that you can do is obey the law. So there's no way that you can understand why Allah does anything. He does what he wants to do because he's the law. And we accept it because we believe in the law. And actually, I better say that. But anyway, I love y'all. May Allah bless y'all. And I'm telling you, that little boy looked just like Hussein Adams. Y'all laugh and stuff, but he looked just like he did. You know, I remember trying to run around, you know. I remember being bit up by mosquitoes and stuff, you know, out there in DC, little crazy places out in Trinidad. Yeah, you know, may Allah bless him too, you know, and I hope that he decided to come forward. May Allah bless everybody. Allah will somewhere else say, you know, I wanted to answer some of that question. The first part is that in the beginning, it was about going to fight jihad. We didn't have a mention of anything more than that. Of course, the book was supposed to be that came out was based on a book called Fitrah. Hussein Abdullah brought him the book and showed him this book, and he said, no, don't worry about that, because it was about the Islamic law and so forth and so on. And he said, I got a book coming out for y'all. This was in October in 1979. Not in the 80s, but in 1979, on 2nd Street in Jersey City. But I was a part of the Armenian too that he was talking about. You know, and we was considering the situation of going to war. That was our consideration. Our consideration was we got our guns together. We trained harder than we had been training for the last 10 years up to that. And we trained all those whole 10 years. We trained, you know, to be war. I mean, to the point, at that time, I fought for the Federation, you know, out of Chinatown. I was a super heavyweight and the heavyweight champion worldwide. Never been beat, never ever, not once, not one single time. And some of my companions trained as hard as I did, but we intended to go to fight and hope that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would give us more. And as things lingered along, some brothers went over. I wasn't one of them in the first group to go. Well, I did go over a few times, but I wasn't in the first group. Some brothers went over. They got as far as Peshawar. They ended up being turned back. And we started wondering what's going on. And then the time came, not anymore for Afghanistan, but the fight turned to Qadian. And those who were selected for that, I'm sure you don't know, probably any of them. And some brothers made it, and some brothers didn't make it out of it. You know, some didn't make it out of it. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for take one. I didn't think to the day that was a bad call, but it was a call that put us in a situation where we started to go into this here other thing, you know, where there was two parts to the movement. Now there was one part to the movement which was supposed to be taboo. And their job was to collect money to help the jihad part of it. So the money they was collecting and this 10% in other monies, that include money from robberies and so forth and so on, which I didn't know about. That money was taken and a lot of best, because we didn't see any of it coming our way. I was sent places, when I got off the plane on the first few missions, one mission I had 10 cents when I got off the plane, but I was still expected to finish the mission. There was no outside support and so forth, so sometimes we didn't get that. Okay. So, just saying that a lot of us didn't get in it for those spiritual, whatever it was. We was hoping that we would end up getting more spiritual. I remember on scenes that me and him sat down and cried because we couldn't get more. So it wasn't always about this other thing. And now when things started to fall apart, when things were falling apart, and now you got to think where you held hostage by your family. And what you did not your family is locked in on this other thing, and you hardly know about it. Some of my kids, sometimes when I come home, they didn't know who I was. They would run. Because I'd be going so long that my kids didn't know couldn't recognize me. And I come home and they run in the corner. It's like, who's that guy? So there was a lot of things that was done to keep us. There was a lot of psychology that was involved to keep us.